Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And this always seems like another day, another round of games being postponed. As in this video, actually the Calgary Flames and the Calgary Hitmen, they have had some games postponed. Each team has 3 games postponed as of this recording, kind of for same reasons that the Calgary Flames have had games postponed. But if you're keeping track, when it comes to the Calgary Flames, they're going to be up to 10 games that they're going to have had postponed. And the NHL has postponed 90 games due to COVID reasons, as well as restrictions in terms of capacity limits. And 10 of them belong to the Calgary Flames after their outbreak. So let's get to the games that are postponed. First for the Calgary Flames, as the Calgary Flames have had 3 more games postponed. Well, already 1 game has surpassed that has postponed, was the New Year's Eve game, when they originally were scheduled to take on the Winnipeg Jets at home. It would have been a 7 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome, but that game ultimately got postponed because the league is hoping for less restrictions when it comes to capacity limits. As right now here in Alberta, as of this recording, it could change, tomorrow or next week, or to either be more restrictive or less restrictive, that they can only have half capacity and no concessions in Alberta. It's definitely different in other provinces, which we'll find out why the Calgary Hitmen have had some games postponed. But the 2 more games that the Calgary Flames have postponed, which this game would be on Tuesday, January 11th, when the Calgary Flames are scheduled to be hosting the New York Islanders, 7 p.m. puck drop. That game's been postponed, and actually the New York Islanders Western Canadian road trip has been postponed. I think this is more for the cross-border and, once again, fan capacity limits. And then the 3rd game, which was scheduled on Saturday, January the 15th, the Calgary Flames were scheduled to take on the Vegas Golden Knights here in Calgary. So that would be an 8 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome. So the Flames have had 3 more games postponed, as they had 6 leading up to Christmas due to the outbreak, and then the league, I guess you could say, had the other 4 where the league pushed off the restart after December 27th, which affected the Flames-Oilers game. But then after that, 3 more games got postponed. As I know, the game when the Calgary Flames will be hosting the Ottawa Senators on Thursday, January 13th, is on. And I think right now, if you look at around the National Hockey League, I think they're postponing mostly Canadian games, with the Canadian team being the home team, especially if it's against U.S. teams by the looks of it, because on New Year's Day, for example, the Toronto Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators game still went on, even though in Ontario, I believe the restrictions in Ontario is they can only have 1,000 fans at the game. So I think there were only 1,000 fans actually in attendance for that game on New Year's Day. So yeah, 3 more games postponed for the Calgary Flames. As of this recording, no word yet on when any of those 10 games that the Calgary Flames have had postponed has been rescheduled. We just know that it's going to be busy in February, as that 3-week break that originally was thought for the Olympics. The NHL is going to have to be playing catch-up, as I mentioned, 90 games in total has been postponed throughout the National Hockey League. 10 of them involve Calgary Flames games, and I'm going to say the league keeps saying they're committed to have all 82 games played. I mean, their season goes until the end of April. I think the NHL did kind of contend to say if Stanley has to get rewarded the middle of July, so be it. And I mean, ultimately, yes, it does come down to money and trying to maximize revenue in Canadian Arena as well. You got to remember the escrow, that it would be more money that the players will have to pay, especially if they play in games in empty buildings, and contractually with the TV contract. So that's the other factors that are in play. So now, I know I have one last thing to mention is, I guess the NHL should, forget the $1 million salary cap increase next season. I know they announced that like a couple months ago, but I think that might have to get changed. So now if we get to the Calgary Hitmen, the Calgary Hitmen actually also have 3 games postponed. As the Calgary Hitmen, they originally were scheduled to play the Lethbridge Hurricanes at home. It'll be a 2 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome, but the reason why that game got postponed is there actually was an outbreak with the Lethbridge Hurricanes that they have suspended team activities for a week. So that game has been postponed. No word on when it's going to be rescheduled. And then the Calgary Hitmen, this leads into restrictions in the province of Manitoba, which I understand is only 200, as the second game that's postponed for the Calgary Hitmen, as they were scheduled to take on the Brandon Weekends in Brandon on Friday, January 7th. That was told to place at 6 p.m. puck drop. And then on Saturday, January 8th, where the Calgary Hitmen were scheduled to take on the Winnipeg Ice at the Wayne Fleming Arena. As that name definitely sounds familiar, as yet it's the same Wayne Fleming that used to be on the coach staff of the Calgary Flames, 8 p.m., 6 p.m. puck drop. That's both those games in the province of Manitoba, which I understand, and don't quote me on it, that their capacity is like 200 fans now, especially these junior games. So that's why the Calgary Hitmen have had 3 games postponed. So as of this video, 3 more Calgary Flames games have been postponed, and 3 Calgary Hitmen games have been postponed. Both cases, in this case, is because of the league, well, I guess with the Lethbridge Hurricanes outbreak, so at least it's not on the team's end. I'm going to say the Calgary Flames, now that the virus has run through the team, don't think there'll be any more outbreaks when it comes to the Calgary Flames, but I just think that the NHL is just trying to have a soldier on. I'm not as confident, though, that those games for the Western Hockey League will get rescheduled depending on building availability, because if you remember last year when the Western Hockey League had their 24 games schedule, well, they had no playoffs, and then there is no word yet on how the playoffs and Memorial Cup's going to go in 2022. That the Calgary Hitmen actually only got to play 21 games because the Hitmen actually had 1 player that tested positive and team activities were suspended for 2 weeks, which that raised another eyebrow about that World Juniors tournament that got canceled because there was an outbreak. But their policy, not like the NHL's, if 1 player was sick, the whole team shuts down and forfeits a game. And it was getting to the point where, I guess under that same policy, games were going to get forfeited and they couldn't award a medal. But hopefully, for the case of those junior kids, they'll still get their games in, and the ones that were in the World Juniors, hopefully maybe they can reschedule the tournament somehow. And both, same with the men and the ladies, but that's all for another story. But which means with both the Calgary Flames and the Calgary Hitmen, it's definitely going to make my game recaps delayed and a mess. I'm just still going to focus on the 6 game segments. It's just they're going to be, more space in between episodes because of this. I mean, it's been a month since I've done a Calgary Flames game recap because they were shut down. And then the Hitmen, while there was that winter break anyway, the Calgary Hitmen game recap is going to be pushed off a day because of that postponed game. But that's all I have for this video. That, yes, there's more games postponed, both for the Calgary Flames and the Calgary Hitmen as of this recording. So anyway, as I'd say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans' journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, the Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, or recap games when games actually happen, and stories. But I also do a variety of non-sports content, like personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and also do share experiences on the road or a sport event. And I do have some vlogging to go on my channel. So if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans' journey, you know what you each do, just make sure you hit like and subscribe. I also have my other social links down in the description below for other ways you can follow me. And I do have my Brett Hornby Shorts, where I post my short form content on that channel. So I appreciate like, subscribe, both here on my main channel as well as my second channel. So that's why I say thanks for watching. Go Flames go, let's go Hitmen, and I'll see you in the next video.